On today's DNVR Broncos podcast, we are previewing OTAs with the Broncos back on the practice field today. What do we want to see? What the heck does OTAs even mean? We're diving into all of that starting now. The Broncos are back, baby, and so is the DNVR Broncos podcast. That might be the first time that I actually feel legitimate saying the Broncos are back this offseason because they are back on the practice field. We're going to break down the DNVR Broncos podcast live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. And like I said, we are the DNVR Broncos podcast. We are very, very happy that you're here, just like I'm happy that Ryan Koenigsberg is here, just like I'm happy Henry Chisholm is here. Two-man producing today. We got Dion Andy here, and Zach Stevens rocking and rolling with you. How are we feeling after the long weekend, fellas?
Great, man.
Yeah.
It was a great long weekend. Could have gone for some better weather.
Yeah.
But had the 15-year reunion. That was interesting.
Wow.
Played some golf. It was also interesting. Had a lot of drinks. That was interesting. I don't know what else I would want.
Henry, was your weekend as interesting?
Yeah, no, Lexi's family was in town, so it was all family things.
Interest.
It was.
Yeah.
We went to the most interesting restaurant, actually. The Fort. Have you ever heard of the Fort in Morrison?
No.
Oh,
Yeah, I guys heard of it. It's a weird place. I hadn't
Yeah.
Googled it before. And that's basically these people like 70 years ago decided to build a replica of an old fort from like back in the day. It's like made of adobe and stuff. So I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and I was the last one there. But they've got like the teepee set up and campfires, and you go in and eat like quail and elk and all this sort of stuff. It was good food. It was awesome, but boy, was it shocking.
that
Wow.
sounds interesting, actually.
Yeah, no, very interesting.
Very
It
interesting.
reminds me of that South Park episode where they go and like they're going to the old like Colorado settlers town.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
like all the people won't break character. I've
Yeah.
actually been to like we went on a field trip there when I was in elementary or middle school.
I want to say I think I went on a field trip there, too.
I would go. It reminded me a lot of Casa Bonita too. Just like all theme, all
Oh yeah.
confusing.
So was the food good?
It was very good. Yes.
What'd you have?
It was called the something game plate. But I got an elk chop, a little bison steak, and a little quail.
Nice.
Yeah.
A quail egg?
No, the little bird.
Oh.
Yeah. It was very good. Very
Wow.
good. Yes.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Didn't know what I was getting myself into.
What'd you do?
I stayed up way too late every single night.
Oh,
Like, you wouldn't believe it. especially coming
how
from
late
me.
is way too late?
Way too late.
I stayed up until 3 last night.
I beat you 2 of the nights.
Wow, that's impressive. We binge watched Daisy Jones and the Six.
Never heard of it.
Have you, Henry?
No, not at all.
Highly recommend.
Really?
Okay.
Highly recommend. 10 episodes.
Where do we top? Where
One
do you
season.
find it?
Prime Video.
Okay. Yep.
What is it?
It's loosely based on the story of Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, wow.
And it's just about like a band that like makes it and all
Okay.
this drama. And
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay. Okay.
really good. And there's like original music in it that's pretty good.
Love original music. I actually saw Mission Impossible. Speaking of original music, this weekend, absolutely loved it. Incredible. All right, let's dive into some Broncos talk now, and let's start with Mr. Bronco. I thought about, the most interesting thing I did this weekend was think about how this Mr. Bronco poll is going to end up. And this is the championship round. After a couple of rounds, we are down to our final Mr. Bronco. It's between Garrett Bowles and Courtland Sutton here. And before we dive into this battle, someone explain to me, Henry, explain to me what Mr. Bronco is.
Oh, boy. Mr. Bronco. We stole it from the Nuggets, who had a Mr. Nugget. It was Gary Harris, then Monte Morris, then now Aaron Gordon, who I think will probably be remembered forever as Mr. Nugget. It's a glue guy. In theory, the heart and soul of your team. always puts the team before himself, and is just willing to do whatever it takes to win. Those are the key components. Glue guy being most important. Just does the little things, does whatever you ask him to do, whatever you need him to do, and does it well.
And then if people are new tuning into this, you might say, where's Bo Nix? Where's Pat Surtain? Well, just like the Nuggets have done, we made a rule. It can't be the best player on your team, a.k.a. Pat Surtain, and it can't be your quarterback. So Bo Nix and Pat Surtain were disqualified before this thing even started. And I just want to add one more thing to what Henry said. Not only like embraces the team, but even maybe goes even further, embraces the community, the city, what it means to be a Coloradan living here.
Yes. And the final thing that we said is that if this poll doesn't go through with a 2/3 majority, then they'll be deemed no Mr. Bronco for now.
Yep. And that's okay. You don't want to force one.
No, and I think that it's very important to not force one.
Yeah.
If the fan base isn't sure, then it's just not time yet.
Nope. And there's no question that Aaron Gordon is Mr. Nugget, and everyone loves that. So there's got to be no question about who Mr. Bronco is. So we're only allowing voting during this live show. So if you are tuning in, make sure to vote. It's in the Toyota chat. And then by the end of the show, we're going to come around and see if we have a Mr. Bronco, see if one has emerged or if we need to go back into the voting process after giving it some time. What does the Pope do to choose a Pope? What is that called? When they're in the room?
The conclave.
Yes, the conclave.
Yes.
We'll have to
Dion
see
had
if
it
we
too.
have
That's
to go
impressive.
back into to voting. That was impressive.
Do we if it does get if Bulls get 67%,
Yep.
do we put some orange smoke
Yes.
from the DNVR bar?
Yes.
Right below these sprinklers is the only thing.
Well, we can just light a smoke bomb on the front porch.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I like that.
yeah, I think there might be some people in the alley with a little smoke bomb too.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if it's orange, but it could be.
Did you see our friends when we pulled up
Yeah,
today?
they were chilling.
Yeah, almost ran over his leg.
Yeah, they were.
Speaking of the Toyota chat, how about John Joda, who said DNVR got me over the Toyota stuff, bought a Sienna last week. I'm very happy.
Wow,
That is incredible.
There we go.
Got to screenshot that, Dion.
Yep, that is awesome. Also, thinking about Toyotas this past weekend too. What
Really?
just popped across your screen, Henry?
Oh, I just wanted to look at what a Sienna was.
It's the big one, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wonder if John has a big family. You can haul
Great
pretty much
fuel
anything
efficiency.
In that thing. Yeah, great fuel efficiency for a big one. Okay, fellas, the Broncos are back officially. And before we dive into this conversation of what we want to learn about the Broncos over these next couple of weeks during OTAs, what the heck is OTAs? Because there's people don't necessarily use the term the right way all the time. So the Broncos, since April, have been doing team activities. It's called the
Organized
off-season-
team activities?
No.
Oh.
Off-season. See, this is where people get confused. Since April, there's been the off-season training
program?
Yep, off-season training program.
OTP.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know why no one calls it OTP.
Because nobody really talks about it, I think.
Well, so
We do.
We used to
Yeah.
talk about it.
Oh, really?
A lot on this show.
Because they used to let us talk to people.
Because they used to let us
Oh.
in the building every day the Broncos were there, starting in April. So
Wow.
that's why if you've noticed over the past couple of years, you're like, why aren't these guys talking about the interviews that they've been having? Well, because there's no more interviews. When Sean Payton came here, he said no more interviews during that time. So they've been, there's phase 1, 2, and 3. OTAs, which we'll get to in a second, is phase 3. Phase 1 is only lifting weights in the weight room. Phase 2, you can be on the field, but there can't be offense versus defense. So it's not real football.
Yeah.
And then phase 3 is OTAs. That's the final phase of all of this, kind of the final phase of all of this. And that means organized team activities, or otherwise put football. That's what they're doing now. They're on the field. They can play football, no pads, but it can be offense against defense, what we all know is football.
I feel like most people think the O stands for optional.
It probably should stand for optional because this is still optional.
Yeah. So I guess it is. It's optional organized team activities.
Yeah.
OTA.
That
Wow.
reminds me of
UDAS.
the RRPPO.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
UDAS?
UDAS.
And that's actually a really good point, Ryan. I'm happy you brought that up because people are already asking, like, well, are the Broncos going to have any holdouts here? Technically, there's no holdouts during this period, because if you're not there, a holdout, according to the NFLPA, only counts when it's mandatory. And the mandatory part is what we get in 2 weeks. So the Broncos have 2 weeks of OTAs this week and next week. And then the final week is essentially OTAs, but it's mandatory. So it's called mandatory minicamp. So that's why you won't hear any official holdouts or not holdouts until mandatory minicamp rolls around. And there's a couple of guys that we're going to have to keep our eyes on there because there's some contract stuff going on now.
Yeah, just show up, man. That's what I have to say.
To the mandatory part?
No,
everything?
To everything. Like, this is going to sound targeted. It's not. Like, Melvin Gordon used to just, like, never show up to this stuff. And it was just so off-putting to me.
It does sound targeted.
Court didn't show up last year, which almost should be disqualifying from Mr. Bronco. Like I think that's it. I think
I have thought about that in the back of my head.
You do that, you're not Mr. Bronco. I think that's where I stand.
I have a hard time disagreeing with that.
One of the things you said, Henry, and what Mr. Bronco was you always put the team in front of yourself no matter what. I think that speaks for itself there.
Well, we might get that 2/3 majority after all.
Right. Unless it was like 2/3 for Court at the beginning, and now it's going to even out and be more 50-50.
All I'll say is that Court's percentage is dropping by the second.
Wow.
See, I didn't remember that, so clearly it didn't stick with me like Melvin doing it did. But I don't know, man. There's just something about it where it just feels like if you're serious about winning a Super Bowl, you would be there.
Yeah.
And I'm fully in support of these guys doing what they got to do to get their money. So when there's contract stuff, and especially guys who, are actively in negotiations, I allow it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But I still stand on the fact that if you're serious about winning a Super Bowl, you would not miss this. And I'd love to see what the attendance report was when Peyton Manning was the quarterback.
100.
Yeah.
And that should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, I have one case where it wasn't 100, and I actually want to ask you guys about it because actually, I'll ask you after I give a shout out to our friends over at Mando, where Mando is a men's deodorant brand that's hyper-focused on keeping every aspect of a man's body smelling fresh and clean, and with the summer right around the corner. I know it's only like 70 degrees today, but Friday it's 81. We're going to be out at practice this week. You're going to want to make sure you have Mando to cover you from head to toe with so many different areas that it covers, including pits, belly buttons, balls, butt cracks, grundles. Before Mando, I never put deodorant on my belly button, and now it's meant for everywhere. So you can now, and they have flavors like bourbon leather, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, and Pro Sport. We love Mando, and if you want to smell fresh from head to toe, even like 12 hours after a shower, Mando's got you covered, and they've also got you covered by giving you a deal. The Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, they're going to give you $5 off that already great value to be over 40% off if you use the code DNVR over at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com, and use that code DNVR, and please show support for our show. Tell them we sent you by getting that $5 off with code DNVR. Smells fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando.
And shout out to Empire Today. They make a lot of things a lot easier for us here. And right now, just heading over to the website, just because it's always kind of fun to see what's going on. A June savings event, 40% off your entire project. That's interesting. Wherever you are, Empire is probably there too. They've got all sorts of different floors, the wood looking stuff, the carpets, the stone type stuff. They've been doing floors for forever, and they've got the same professionals who do a great job every time. If you're interested in new floors, easy choice. That's the place to go. They'll bring the showroom right to your home. They pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. You can see how it looks like, or how it looks with your furniture in your house. Super convenient. It's important to make sure that what you're getting matches what you already have, and they'll take all the measurements and have all your questions answered, so there are no surprises. It's clear, it's upfront, all-inclusive pricing, plus you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are better at home. DNVR listeners can get a $350 discount when using promo code DNVR. Yes, you heard right, a $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday/DNVR for full details.
And shout out to everyone in the Twitter chat rocking and rolling with us today. Hit us with a thumbs up if you're tuned in. Make sure to vote in the poll. And I got to say, the Toyota chat giving some support for Court right now. So maybe he will win. We'll see right now. And
I'm predicting a non-vote. Back to the drawing board.
60-40.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. We'll break it down at the end of this. Conga says, is Zach doing laundry today? Couldn't pay to wear Rocky's apparel. I'm wearing Rocky's apparel today to honor Bo Nix's perfect first pitch.
That was
on Friday.
Yeah.
Absolute strike.
It was. He even like got like the wind up in there too.
Yep.
Like it'd be kind of easier to throw the ball and get in the right spot, but he went through like the motions, which makes it a little bit tougher.
And the Colorado Rockies are undefeated in games that I attend.
Wow. And Bo Nix attends.
and Payton.
And Payton.
Bo,
yeah.
When
Is
you
that the
combine the powers
trifecta?
of me, Payton, and Bo, the Rockies are going to win.
I'm pretty sure Bo was there on Sunday also.
And did they lose?
Of course.
Was
yes.
Payton there?
Of course. Peyton was there just Friday, I believe.
Okay. Well,
And you were there just Friday.
I was.
So maybe it's you and Peyton thing.
Yep.
Wow.
I made my only baseball bet I've made all year.
Money
It
line?
was Rockies money line.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Plus 350, I think?
Plus 350. Yep. My friends believed wholeheartedly that I manifested that.
Wow. So you believe
I
in
did.
the Colorado Rockies in
Well, I
games
did that
you,
night.
Peyton, and Bo are there.
After like 7 Coors Lights?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So that was cool to see Bo do that. And honestly, the man, your franchise quarterback, he can't embarrass you on the mound when he goes out there, especially when like
so
you bring
true.
the Yankees out there. If this is a Thursday afternoon game and you don't really believe in your franchise quarterback and you're playing, I don't know, the Astros or something, okay, whatever. But Friday night, Yankees are in town. Bo Nix is there. You got to throw a perfect strike just like you did.
You don't have to throw a perfect strike, but you
can't
better
embarrass
not
yourself.
bounce it. You better
Yeah.
not airmail it,
Yeah.
or it's going viral.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't go viral for your first pitch.
No.
No. I mean, if you're going to, then you just don't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I always wondered. Like, did this person ever throw a baseball before they stood up there? Because they would have known to say, never mind, I'm busy that day.
Yeah. I mean, I'd imagine he's been practicing though. At least all day you're out there just like throwing pitches.
I think he said he did an interview with I think the Broncos after and said, "Oh no, throwing a baseball has been part of his routine this offseason in terms of practicing throwing a football." So yeah,
There you go.
he has been smart.
Meanwhile, Hunter
Big thing
Goodman,
right
the
now.
Rockies catcher, throws a football to warm up for baseball.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cross sport stuff's really popular right now.
It is.
Yeah.
Who is it that like has a little mini hoop that they bring out to the football warm up?
A Bronco?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I think it's like Dak or something. It's like yeah.
Oh, Dak does all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah, I feel like he like shoots some hoops before the game.
Yeah.
It sounds
No,
like a
yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett sort of thing. I mean, the Broncos had basketball hoops there. Okay, so I want to ask you guys because was Von Miller ever Mr. Bronco?
He
We
was
don't have
too
to go
good,
in
yeah.
depth.
You think
But
he was too good?
He was too good because there was Payton on the team. He was probably the best and the quarterback.
Not in the Super Bowl year.
I was gonna
but
say, so that's fair. Because okay, in my scenario actually, because I was going to bring up after he won Super Bowl 50 MVP, Von held out during the offseason program. I don't know about mandatory mini camp or not, but he was not here in April and May because he wanted the bag and he ended up getting the bag. But I guess at that point he was Mr. Bronco because there was no doubt he was a Super Bowl MVP, or he was disqualified from being Mr. Bronco is what I should say because he was Super Bowl 50 MVP. Payton was now gone off the team, so he was for sure the best player on the team. So I guess it doesn't matter. He can hold out and be
I still
fine.
don't know that best player can't be. I think it's really, really hard to be. Like, I still think it's possible.
One thing I'll say about Vaughn is he was doing all of the things that Mr. Bronco would do
Yeah.
during that era.
Dancing with the Stars.
Well, no, I'm talking before that because I think after it, things got a little weird.
True.
But in the time leading up to it, you know, always hyping everyone up, great quotes on the podium, always doing the, you know, community stuff. I don't know. Vaughn went through like, I feel like 3 distinct eras in his career.
Yeah.
And early on, he was like getting into trouble, so he wasn't going to be Mr. Bronco then.
Right.
It is crazy to think. How long was he suspended for testing positive for weed? It was a long time.
I don't think we ever found out what substance it was.
Oh, did we not? I guess we just assumed, but now if you do that, that's just allowed.
I think it was 4 games, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then he came back, only played a couple of games, and then tore his ACL.
Yep.
So was out the rest of the season.
Yep. So, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it's for trying to cheat the drug test. That's right.
Yeah.
Who else would have, like, Chris Harris?
Yeah, probably Chris.
That's what that was the first name that came to my mind
That's
during
a
that
good
era.
one.
And then DT.
Yeah.
But DT also had a holdout. I just can't remember if it was a training camp holdout or
I think it was the same thing that Court did last year, kind of the offseason. And then I think right before mandatory minicamp, Dez got a contract, and then DT signed one like for a penny more than Dez like 10 seconds later or something like that.
love it.
Yeah.
I remember getting in a big fight with my friend over that because I was just saying, like, you can't do this when Payton's your quarterback. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the one time that you can't do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, 20 or whatever. But I just felt like it was going to mess, like Payton, I just felt like he wasn't going to be happy about that.
No, and I'm sure he wasn't. And I'm sure he was never happy with any of this stuff. So since we're talking about this, let's look at guys that we need to keep our eye on. So someone also asked, like, when does practice start? Well, practice is going on right now, but Sean Payton only lets the media in attendance 1 day a week. So the media will be out there Thursday of this week, I believe Thursday of next week. And then during mandatory minicamp, we're allowed out there. I guess we're forced to be out there, or we're allowed to be out there. It's forced on Sean Payton to allow us to be out there by the NFL every single day. So that'll either be 2 or 3 days in 3 weeks from now. So that's why you won't hear any updates today or tomorrow. But Thursday, make sure to stay tuned. And so we'll be keeping our eyes on a couple of guys, and the one that pops out to me is JFM. Our friend Chris Thomason, he reported a couple of weeks ago that John Franklin Meyer has not been at the Broncos offseason training program this offseason because he's training with just a trainer, I think down in Texas or Florida or something like that. And it's like, okay, fine, you're going to do that. That's okay. But what makes it interesting is JFM has been very vocal on Twitter multiple times saying how he wants a new contract. And so you put those two things together, and it does make me wonder, how far is this going to go? And Chris, when he reported it, said he might be at one of the OTAs, and then we'll see about mandatory minicamp. So no reason to panic this week, but if he's not there, maybe he's sending a message, maybe he's not. But in a couple of weeks, that's a guy that I'm really going to be looking for if he's there, because he is maybe one of the most like underrated players, not just on the team, but honestly in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll just tweet whatever he's thinking.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, they need him. I think he's a really important part of what they do. The whole idea is that you get 5 guys rushing the quarterback, which is more than most teams typically send. But with Vance Joseph, you send 5 over and over again because somebody's going to win a one-on-one. So if they leave a tight end to help or whatever, he's one of those guys who wins his one-on-one consistently. And if you don't have that and you sub in somebody else, all of a sudden the pass rush isn't what it used to be. So they need him. It's just tough to figure out what his value is. And I think that's going to make the whole negotiation really difficult.
Yeah, and then especially not only his value, but then Zach Allen wants a new deal. That was reported earlier this year as well. He wants like, I think, $25 million. You're also going to pay Nick Bonito potentially $25+ million. Now, while Nick and JFM don't play the exact same position, JFM and Zach Allen play the exact same position. And by the way, you just gave DJ Jones a raise this year too. You can't pay everyone, and the Broncos are finally at this point where maybe they won't be able to pay everyone, and that means they'll trade one of these guys, or they'll just let one of their contracts expire and then get a comp pick back next year for them. But they are in a spot where it's like, man, they do want JFM, they do want Zach Allen, they want all of these guys, but you might be to a point where you might not be able to pay them all.
See, I used to believe that too, and then I watched the Chiefs, and I just decided, like, whoever said you can't pay everyone was just lying. The only person that they decided they weren't going to pay was Tyreek Hill.
And that corner. L'Jarius Sneed's gone too. They've lost a couple.
Those are like,
and Thuney
Tyreek
this
is
year.
one big one.
Yeah.
But like all of their JFMs,
Yeah.
they keep around.
It's very true.
That's the thing though, is like, how much is that guy worth? You know, like he could make a strong case that he's worth $15 million. Broncos could make a case that he's worth like $7 million. And then you just have to figure out where he falls. And then hopefully it works out because he wants to stay in Denver and everything's going so well. And if he says, I think I could go get 13 and the Broncos say, we can give you 10, he's willing to take that discount. But I don't know.
Nope.
You don't think so?
He's not taking a discount.
Especially with him being so vocal about
Yeah,
it,
that's what I mean.
makes me think that he might
I don't
not.
think he's trying to enter the competition for Mr. Bronco anytime soon.
No, I don't think so. Because here's the thing about him too, and like you said, Henry, there could be a case made that he's worth a lot. There can be a case made that he's not worth a lot. I do think he's worth a lot, but when it comes to sacks, what do you have? 5.5, 6 last year?
I thought more than that. I could be wrong.
7. It's somewhere around there. The sacks are good, but not
7. Yeah,
not elite. But then the pressures are elite. I think he's like one of 2 players in the NFL that has had 50 plus pressures from a defensive line standpoint in 3 straight years. It's him and it's Chris Jones. Like that's the company he's in. So he sees that and he's like, I'm not taking a discount. I'm one of the best doing this. I just don't get sacks because I play an interior defensive line position. I want more of that Chris Jones money who's making $30 million as opposed to being paid like a 7 million or 7 sack per year guy. So I can see why this deal isn't done already and why this could get contentious and why it could get tough.
Okay, so you can have 2 of the 3, Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, JFM. Which 2 are you taking?
Taking the 2 younger ones.
I mean, are we factoring in like the money you have to pay?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be tempted to include JFM. I love Zach Allen, but that's a lot of money to give for a defensive tackle. You know, and if you're really convinced that he really is going to be one of, like it's him and it's Chris Jones and maybe there's 1 or 2 other guys who fit in there, then yeah, it's a good, fair deal. That's just not the kind of contract that you win on very often.
Is he replaceable though? Like who is it easier to find a player of that caliber?
I don't know. I mean,
honestly, the answer might be Nick Bonito.
Yeah,
it's close to being that. Like he isn't the most well-rounded, but he does the thing that's hard to do, and that's get to the quarterback in 2 seconds. And when you have those guys, like those are just so important and so tough to find generally that I don't know. It's a really tough decision, and I think these would be the spots where I'd just invest the money. I'd be willing to pay all 3 and just keep it going.
For me, where it gets interesting is if you were to ask that question, and this was probably included in your question, is what could you trade these 3 guys for? Like one individually. If you're only going to pay 2, you're probably trading Zach Allen and Nick Bonito for more than you would a JFM. And then the money that you save by not paying them, that's where it gets fascinating. Now, when it comes to the front 7, though, man, you pay these guys.
All 3.
All 3, but then you're also paying DJ, so that's 4, and then you're also paying Dre Greenlaw, now that's 5. You're also paying Jonathan. Like, when you say if you keep all these guys, you're literally paying 7 guys.
And that's what you get to do when you have Bo Nix. And then as soon as he gets off this rookie contract, that's when things really get tough.
But here's what makes it tricky is you're not just paying the front 7 on your defense. You're paying Pat Surtain. You're not paying a second cornerback right now, but you are paying a safety $7 million in Brandon Jones. And by the way, he had a 2-year deal. He's up. He might want, or no, he had a 3-year deal. So after this coming year, he might want more. And now you're also paying Hufanga. So you're paying 2 safeties too. So that's what makes it tough is like you will literally be paying everyone on your starting defense outside of like 1 guy.
Yeah. That's tough because it leaves you a lot less money for offense.
Yeah.
And we've been down that road.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't have a franchise young quarterback at that point,
right?
Which makes a big difference and allows you to spend more on the defense. Jose is crashing out over me saying that Bonito might be more replaceable.
Oh, boy.
I just said he might be.
He might be.
And you think about just the amount of players in the league who have that skill set. It's tough. I think there's, especially with the way that pass rushers are getting paid now, like top athletes on high school teams are becoming edge rushers.
Yeah.
And I don't know. When I was in high school, I don't think that was the case. It was more like the classic defensive end that was playing on the outside. And now you're getting like athletic freaks are becoming pass rushers. And so I think there's more of an influx of talent like that. Interior pass rush, I think is harder to find.
I definitely think it is. And that's why you see there's a big value. Chris Jones, no one thought that an interior defensive lineman was going to get paid $30 million. And the Chiefs, I mean, he held out into the season because he said, yes, you are going to pay me that. People thought he was going to get 20. He got $30 million. So it is becoming very, very valuable. And it's a great question to have. Maybe one that we'll dive even deeper into. Like, if you have to keep only two or one of those guys, what do you do? We'll dive into that over these next couple of weeks. I want to know, guys, what do you think is the most important thing that you want to take away from OTAs in these next few weeks? And I want your answer to that after I give a shout out to our friends over at Toyota, which is the official automobile of the NFL and the official vehicle of DNVR. And it is camping season officially. I think Memorial Day weekend starts camping season. There's no better car to turn to than a Toyota. If you want to go camping with the family and bring like 7 people, the Sienna. Check that one out. If you want to, have the whole truck camper setup, man, Toyota has been in the truck game for generations. They have mastered it. They've got trucks of all different sizes, including if you want to have the most powerful truck, the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. When I see the little iForce Max thing on the back of a Toyota, I'm like, man, that thing's got some serious power. And if you want to get in on it, just like, who was it? Who was our friend that became a Toyota? John. If you want to become like John, make sure to check out a local Front Range Toyota store at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota in Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
Also, Thursday, June 5th, the 7th annual UC Health Healthy Swings Charity Home Run Derby. Courtland Sutton, Alex Singleton, Marvin Mims, and many more Broncos will be stepping up to the plate at Coors Field to raise money and probably hit more home runs than the Rockies have all season. UC Health has donated over $900,000 to local charities over 6 iterations, supporting Coloradans with food insecurity, cancer screenings, and veterans' mental health challenges. But this year's beneficiary is Freedom Service Dogs. Freedom Service Dogs provides service dogs to individuals with limited mobility, young adults with autism, veterans, and first responders to help with disabilities like PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, and more. Shout out to our friends over at UC Health for putting on such a great event, raising so much money for charity, and for the Broncos for participating. We can't wait for this year's event.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. We're going to be down there, and stay tuned. It's going to be an awesome event for us. Really quick, guys, we're talking about how there's not really holdouts now. There's 2 Broncos that have not signed their rookie contract. It's the Broncos' first 2 picks. It's RJ Harvey and Jahdae Barron. I think they're both going to be practicing because they both practice a rookie mini camp. But there's a chance that they don't. But I don't think that's going to be the case. But news just came out of Cincinnati that their first-round pick, Shamar Stewart, the defensive tackle, is still not practicing. He didn't practice during rookie minicamp. He's not practicing during OTAs. That is a bad spot to be in. Like, as a rookie, you definitely can't do that.
What is happening? How is that possible?
It's all slotted deals. I don't know. Like, he might want that Paxton Lynch, like, guarantee me some of that 5th round.
Just do it. Just do it. What are you doing? You need these guys.
You just told him, I'm in love with you. Now you're trying to withhold the ring a little bit.
Yes.
It's like, no. You got to give me the ring.
Yeah, dude. I don't get how this could happen. I'll be might crash out.
You'll be like
Broncos
Jose.
rookies aren't in OTAs because of this ridiculousness.
So I don't expect that to happen, but what a terrible situation going on. That just fits in with Cincinnati, though. Like, Trey Hendrickson is saying, what was the crazy thing he said a couple of weeks ago when he spoke to reporters? He's just like, they won't pay me. Every other team wants to pay me if they trade for me, but this is the only team that won't pay me.
I've heard some bad things about that organization.
Yes, very bad things. And we're not hearing any of those things about the Broncos.
No, but let's go. Let's get these deals done.
Tell me. Oh, I totally agree with both of the Broncos' first 2 picks. Yeah.
Yes, this should be like signing the syllabus.
Yep.
Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Hand it, sign it, hand it back.
Yeah, and if you can't get approval from the parents, just sign it yourself.
Yes, exactly.
I thought you were saying let's go about what's the number one thing you want to learn about the Broncos and OTAs over these next 3 weeks.
So I was thinking about this, and I think the way you phrased it to us last night is like, would we rather hear that the offense is doing great or that the defense is doing great? I think it's a lot more likely that we hear about the defense. Defense always has an advantage in early season settings.
Yep.
So because of that, I have no worry about this defense. They come Sunday, week 1, they're going to ball.
Yep.
If I heard that like the offense was looking electric at OTAs, that would really excite me.
So if you hear
that's
like
the number one thing I want to hear, or the number one thing I want to learn is that the offense is clicking.
Yep.
So like if Court is just cooking Pat Surtain, we're taking that as good news.
I would, yes.
Okay.
I have literally no doubt that Pat Surtain is going to be a first-team All-Pro this year.
Okay, then we bump it down to, let's just say like Court's cooking Jahdae Barron and Riley Moss. We're still saying that's good news. It gets tough though. Like it's easy with the big blanket statements, but when you get into the matchups, which is what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yep.
You know what I like to hear even more than that though is I like to hear Marvin Mims is cooking Pat Surtain.
Yeah.
Because just like Brian, I
unrealistic.
have no doubt that Pat Surtain is still going to be the defensive player of the year caliber. But if Marvin Mims is that good, that would be incredible.
Marvin versus Riley, who are you cheering for?
Gotta go offense.
Yeah.
Gotta go offense. Yeah. So I'm not cheering against Riley. I'm just cheering for the offense.
Okay.
Especially with Sean Payton and the Broncos front office telling us with their actions, not just their words, that they love the wide receivers. That I want to hear great things about Marvin Mims.
Yeah. So Henry, what's the number one thing? Do you agree with Ryan? Is that the number one thing you want to hear? Or learn about?
I want to watch the receivers too. I think that's the big thing. And I just expanded the passing game, I guess, because I want to see what Bo does. You know what Drake May threw 4 picks in the first OTA practice.
Really?
Yeah, and then everybody says like, well, it's OTAs and like the ball's getting tipped or whatever. Exactly. And like who knows if it matters or if it doesn't. Like the way the Patriots reporters are saying is like, yeah, just kind of caught bad breaks. Like the ball's just bouncing into the defense off guys' hands. But I would just like to avoid that.
Bo Nix could throw 100 interceptions today and we would not find out about it.
No.
Totally.
In fact, what happens because Sean only allows it up to certain days, he will save certain things for when the media is out there. Whether it's hiding the trick plays, whether it's hiding deep passes because he wants to try that with Bo and doesn't know how it's going to go or something like that. Or sometimes he'll do the opposite and he'll want to showcase that Bo is so good at slants. So he's going to run those in front of the Broncos. And then you know what he's also going to do in this game plan? He's going to make it so that the defense is playing off every single time Bo throws these. So, but it's not just for Bo. He'll do this and it's intentional. And it's fascinating because he wants to make certain people look good in front of the media.
Is that what he's doing with Lucas Kroll last year?
It must have been because it was, according to some people, the best OTAs that anyone's ever
I don't
had.
think that's what he was doing because then he shut it down so intensely.
Exactly.
Very much did.
Yeah, no, I was reading back to my OTA notes from last year, and like that was the big one. Is Lucas Kroll has just had an incredible day.
But then, as everyone else except for like I guess one other media member didn't notice, he fell off right after that.
Yeah.
His first day was so good,
Yeah.
and then was just nothing. But I'm happy that you guys went with where you did. Essentially, Bo, that's where it has to be, right? Like, there is no better thing. If I were to tell you in a month from now that Bo Nix just tore up OTAs and was incredible, you would say that's the best thing that I could have heard. So you have to start with Bo, especially over these next few months from national media members. We're going to hear about this sophomore slump, and there's probably going to be conversations on who's going to have a bigger sophomore slump, Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix like that. And there's a chance that neither of them have a sophomore slump. It doesn't have to happen. And this is the first time that we're going to be seeing Bo out there in his sophomore season, taking that next step. And I'm sure after practice on Thursday, we're going to hear Sean Payton just say great things about how Bo's taken that next step. Okay, let's see it. Now, if we don't see it, and it is the defense that kind of comes out, that's probably what we should expect.
Yes.
Just because, like you said, defense always has the upper hand in OTAs at the beginning of training camp, all of that stuff, and especially a good defense like the Broncos. So I'm not going to be panicked. But if he comes out and he's shredding up this defense, I'm gonna feel great.
For sure. And I mean, it goes back to the conversation that we had last week about Jarrett, Goff, and the different comps that could be out there for Bo Nix. And this is like I don't know why. This is like the unspoken fear that is underlying within Broncos country is like, what if Bo is only really good?
Yep.
And it's one of the craziest parts of like the NFL landscape is having a really good quarterback is kind of bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it's the CBA.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need to have a quarterback who is great.
Yeah.
And Bo Nix's rookie season is all you could ask for on the path to greatness.
Right. Right.
But the path has to continue linearly or close to it.
Yep.
Or else that would be a big storyline of this season. So
totally.
Any good reports that you hear about Bo Nix are huge.
Totally. Is Justin Herbert really good?
Yes.
And I think that's kind of like the perfect example of really good. There's no chance they move on from him. Like, there's no chance they didn't give him a big contract. But he's a guy that you have to be so scared if you're a Chargers fan because, yes, he's going to make incredible throws here. He might win you a game in week 7. But come playoffs, he's thrown, was it 4 picks or 3 picks in that game last year? I think it was 4 interceptions, 1 or 2 for a pick 6, and then the only other playoff game he's been in, he had a
24-point lead.
Yeah, it was something like that to Trevor Lawrence, who Trevor Lawrence
also is in the same category,
and maybe even a step below him right now. So to your point, you're 100% right, and we're gonna find out a lot about Bo Nix. Like, how do you think Tennessee or Texans fans feel about CJ Stroud right now?
Really good.
Really good. Yeah. But he hasn't taken that. He could have taken that next step last year, but he didn't. And he still can take the step. He's only entering his 3rd season right now. But if he has another really good year, Titans fans might be on that.
Texans fans.
Thank you. Texans fans might be on that line of like,
Yeah. I mean, last year he actually did have a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
But then he won a playoff game, so it was like all is kind of forgiven.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay, outside of Bo, though, Henry, what's the second thing that you want to see?
I mean, I think it goes to the receivers because that competition is just, I mean, there's so many different guys who they'll all probably be part of the rotation. You only have questions about a couple of them. Like Troy Franklin might not be part of rotation. Pat Bryant might not be part of rotation. Trent Sherfield probably won't be. But for the most part, you've got like 3 guys locked in and probably 2, maybe even 3 more spots. But the order in which those guys fall is going to be interesting. So it'd be nice if somebody goes out there and has like a big camp so that you say, okay, we can trust that this guy actually is something, start kind of penciling him in, at least as being a part of rotation.
When it comes to the receiver group right now, especially this week, I'm so curious to see where Pat Bryant places because Sean has had no issue playing young wide receivers in the past, specifically like rookies that he likes. He's had no issue playing them. Okay, well, Pat Bryant's a 3rd-round pick. That's significant for Sean, especially for a position that a lot of people thought was the Broncos could use a 1st-round pick on. So does Pat Bryant, is he getting playing time with the ones? Does he look like a mini Courtland Sutton? Or is it like, okay, he's a rookie. Let's calm our expectations for him right now. So that number 13s I'm really curious about when it comes to the receivers.
Daniel said, disagree. A really great QB is enough to win a title. That is true. A really great QB is, but a really good oftentimes doesn't.
That's why the CBA is so dumb, because it turns football, like, it should just be the better your quarterback, the happier you are. But that's not the way it works in the NFL.
Nope. It's an odd thing. Pat Bryant is my number 1 candidate for draft pick that is going to make the Broncos look like geniuses.
Is it because of how the outside viewed him when they drafted him?
Exactly, yeah. It's like we talk all the time about how Sean Payton loves to do things that other people aren't going to like that he is confident in.
Yeah.
And I feel like Pat Bryant is a perfect example of one. And even people who hated the pick when it happened are now coming out and being like, okay, well, now the dust is settled, and I'm not just repeating what I've heard, and I've actually watched this guy. I'm excited about him.
Honestly, I think if Pat Bryant would have ran a 4.48, he everyone would have been like, what a great pick. In fact, he probably would have been a second round pick. And that's just what makes the 40 time so silly, because guys go out, they run way faster than they look on tape, and they get overdrafted. Guys run slower and they get underdrafted. And that's the number one thing that I heard when people were hating on this pick is, well, he ran a 4.61. Like, how can you succeed in the NFL like that? When you watch the tape, he's the one that's running into the end zone with no time left, outrunning all of the defenders. So I agree with you there, Ryan. Is that what you're focused on outside of Bo, or what else are you looking at?
I'd love to hear what's going on in the secondary, and just, is Jahdae Barron coming in and showing out right away? Hopefully he's there. I'm going to be interested in all the rookies. RJ Harvey.
Yeah.
We mentioned Pat. But I think just so much of my focus is going to be offensive.
Yep.
It's just so... The defense is going to be good.
Yeah.
They have so much talent.
Yep.
And we've already seen it work. And Vance Joseph knows these pieces. It's protection. It's can they run the ball? It's not something that comes out really in practice, but you can get some little glimpses. You can hear if RJ Harvey's flashing. You can hear if Audric Estime gained a step, like whatever it is.
Yeah. There's two guys outside of Bo, right behind Bo, that I'm going to just be locked in on, both on the offensive side of the ball. RJ Harvey is one of them. He looked good in rookie minicamp. They're not doing much in rookie minicamp. I want to see how he looks specifically in the Broncos' eyes. Where's he going in the order compared to these other running backs? Because, guys, he has to be that number one running back for the Broncos this year. Unless Jaleel takes a massive step up, Audric takes a massive step up, everyone's expecting RJ Harvey to be the starter. So I want to see him be the starter and be that guy and be making the right reads. And then the other guy is number one, Evan Ingram. I am so excited to see the role that Sean has him in. There's a video that Evan Ingram's like personal route running coach put on Instagram a couple weeks ago. Maybe I'll have it pulled up later this week, where Evan Ingram, it looks like he is running it looks like the video sped up to like ×2. And I made sure it wasn't by like looking at how the trees were blowing and stuff, and like kids were running in the background because he was just at a local park. It's insane. And I am so curious to see if it looks like that when there's other NFL players on the field. If so, I'm going to smash the 80 catches, 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, because I think he could just be that X factor there. So curious to see what he looks like in a Broncos uniform. It's going to be the first time we've seen him.
Love it.
Yeah. Especially with, you'd imagine no Singleton or Dre Greenlaw. We'll see how exactly it all works out. But
Singleton, Alex has really been teasing us with that.
He has.
My guess is he's going to be doing more than one would expect him to be doing.
I just can't believe it until I see it.
That's very fair. But you're right, no Dre Greenlaw.
But yeah, and so if those two aren't out there, you would imagine the middle of the field should be wide open. Like you'll have Justin Sternad in there. A couple of those undrafted linebackers will get some opportunities too, which could be kind of fun. Because you'd imagine it's Drew Sanders, Justin Sternad next up. But then of all the undrafted free agents, those are the guys who have the best opportunities. Because if Singleton really doesn't practice, they're just bumped up a line. The kid from Utah, what is his name? Kareem Reed.
Of course. You're a big fan of his, aren't you?
Two-time All Pac-12.
Nope.
JB Brown from Kansas. Another just like they're both 6 foot 230, which is crazy. Now everybody says like, they're just not big enough to be NFL linebackers. It's like, well, it's 2025. What are we talking about? That is plenty big enough. You know who else is 6 foot 230? Dre Greenlaw, and he's seen as like your big type linebacker. But both those two guys, I think, are gonna get a lot of reps, probably against Evan Ingram.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I hope that's the last time we talk about these guys until a couple of years from now when they're developed. Well, because I want Dre Greenlaw and Alex Singleton to be out there, because we are going to find out more about
You think that's the last time we're going to talk about it on a show with back of the roster, Hank?
Yeah, that's true. No. But I hope it, unless these guys are just balling out.
Well, that's the goal. I mean, that's why they gave him as much money as they did. Because they're second highest paid undrafted free agent and fourth maybe, both at linebacker. And that's Drew Sanders is very much on notice with that.
Absolutely.
Either one of those could steal that job from him. And if that's the case with those guys a little bit banged up, you could hit on somebody there. It wouldn't be the first time they found a good linebacker in undrafted free agency.
I really hope this isn't the case, especially with the Broncos. You're right there, Henry. I would not be surprised if Drew Sanders does not make this team. I hope that's not the case because I love his talent and potential, but I don't think the Broncos are counting him to be a lock to make this team. So that is a good one to watch there and see that rotation. And guys, the final thing, especially right when we get out there for the first practice, we're going to find out if anyone else is hurt. Now, I'll touch wood, really hope that's not the case. But in the past, since we're not allowed out there until now, in the past when April rolls around, we find out like, oh, this guy has something tweaked or not. We don't find that out now. Sean Payton does a great job keeping everything in-house. It was a person from the Bay Area that broke the Dre Greenlaw news, and then that had to be corrected by the media here about what actually was the injury. But this is the time we find out, okay, who's not on the field? Does it mean that they're hurt, or does it mean that they're just not showing up to this? So that's going to be fascinating, and hopefully everyone's there, except for Dre Greenlaw, who we don't expect to do anything until training camp, and we'll see where Alex Singleton is at as well. So that's what we're going to be following over the next few weeks right now, and then after mandatory minicamp is over, it's a 5 to 6 summer week break where the Broncos can't enter the building. They can't talk to coaches. It's truly the only off time of the entire year. And then we get training camp, baby. So it's crazy. We are 2 months away from everything starting. Literally, I think 2 months away is the exact date that the Broncos are tentatively planning on training camp to start the end of July. And we're 100 days away from the start of the season right now.
Wow.
Where that first game is what, the Cowboys and Eagles? I think it's Cowboys.
I can't
The one that's in Brazil?
No, that's the Friday game right after.
Okay.
No,
That
it is
the
Cowboys and
Chiefs-
Eagles.
That's the Chiefs and Chargers.
Because the Eagles are 7-point favorites and the Broncos are 7-point favorites. And those are the two biggest favorites of week 1.
Wow.
Yeah. And you better be playing the Titans.
Which one do you feel more confident covering? The Eagles?
Broncos. Definitely the Broncos.
I do too.
Yeah. Because
That's
again, the Cowboys,
crazy.
again, before last year, they'd had 3 straight 12-win seasons.
Can I bet on the Broncos to get a shutout yet?
I don't know.
Man, you are going along my lines of how we're feeling these first 2 games. I love it right now. What's the over-under, Henry? Do you know?
I can pull it up.
Those have to be out, right? Those are probably the only 2 things out is spread, money line, over-under.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over-under. Broncos are a 7-point favorite. So I'm going to say the over-under is
34.5.
It's pretty darn close. Yeah, I'll go.
That's too low.
Yeah, I'll go 36 and a half.
Okay.
I said 34.5 already, even though I felt like it was low.
42.5.
Yeah.
Oh, 42 and a half.
No, it's 27-0 Broncos. So
There we go.
The under.
What are we feeling better? Well, we're feeling better about the defense, right? After week 1, if the score is 27-0.
yeah, because there was a pick 6.
Oh, are we concerned about the offense? Only 20 points against the worst team in the league?
No, because they were just running out the clock. the
Okay,
second
okay.
half.
RJ Harvey has a 100-yard game. It's like the first time since Clinton Portis, since a rookie has had a 100-yard game.
Yep.
Actually, that'd be since Phillip Lindsay for sure. Okay, guys. Anything else you want to throw out there before we see the results of Mr. Bronco?
I'm kind of nervous.
I know. Me too. It really is like waiting for the smoke. Is it black or is it white? Because we know that there's a winner, but is there a definitive winner?
There's a winner of the poll, but is there a Mr. Bronco?
Right. Exactly. Let's find them out one at a time.
All right.
Dion, who won the poll? Don't tell us the percentages yet. So who won the poll? Garrett Bowles or Courtland Sutton? He's pulling it up right now. It's got to be Garrett, right?
Courtland Sutton won the poll.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. The way Dion said it, though, makes me think
was
we do
close.
not have a Pope. We do not have a Bronco. That's just my guess. I haven't seen it.
What's the number? 55%.
Yeah. He was hovering around like 70% when we were like 50, 60 votes in. Then it tanked. Yeah.
The holdout tanked his campaign.
Well, don't say y'all. Say Henry tanked his campaign.
It's the truth, though.
He saw it was at 70, and he's like, I'm going to throw this piece of fact out there, by the way. It's the truth.
If
like
you don't
said.
show up, then you're not Mr. Bronco. It's that simple.
DNVR crew lobbied for Vols. I don't think we ever did.
No.
I felt like Bowles was going to win.
I did too.
I don't think I felt Bowles was going to win from the very start. In fact, I don't know if it was when we first did this last week or before the show. I think I told you guys like, oh, this has got to be Garrett Bowles.
So when we first brought this up, I think the first thing I said is I don't think there is one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that it wasn't even close to 2/3. I think what we learned here is that the Broncos need some more moments, some more time in the sun before a true Mr. Bronco emerges. And I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah. Me too. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to crown someone Mr. Bronco and then 2 weeks later, you find out he's not in mandatory minicamp or something. Like, you got to be sold on him. Now, it doesn't mean that any of these guys don't embody what Mr. Bronco is. Like, I think we all said we had Alex Singleton as what, the 2 seed here? Because he really embodies
He would have been my
what
pick
it is.
if I had to pick someone.
Yeah.
He would have been my pick.
Yeah.
If he would have played last year, then I think there would have been a good case.
Yeah. And who did he lose to? Courtland, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
80-20. Lost by 60% of the vote right there. And so, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't mean that these guys don't embody what it is to be a Mr. Bronco.
They
but
just don't embody it enough.
when do we do this next? Do you wait a whole year? Do you wait 6 months? A year?
I mean, maybe after the season you could. I think next off season there's an opportunity.
It's possible that, like, under the right circumstances, Mr. Bronco just presents himself to us.
True.
There's nothing Garrett Bowles can do more to be Mr. Bronco. I think he's probably just never going to win it. And it might go back to how he started his career off rocky. And just even though like fans love his effort, there's still just some questions about his play. But this is a guy that's on his 3rd contract with the team, which is just, it's crazy that people still question him a little bit. But clearly that is out there.
But remember, Aaron Gordon, it was less than 2 years before he became Mr. Nugget. You know, Monte Morris, I don't think he'd been around too long. It's not just about longevity. Like, I think, and that's the Alex Singleton path. You show up, you fit in perfectly, you help lead the defense. It's just that he didn't get that second season to keep going.
Man, when you say all of that, I just think Dre Greenlaw will definitely be in this conversation next year. Next time we do this in 9 months or whatever, he might be that guy.
Yeah, and to Al, who said Courtland won fair and square, we did establish the rules before the tournament even started.
Oh, totally. Yep.
We're not changing anything now.
No, and if it was Courtland, great. It wasn't. You need that. It needs to be very much accepted that he's the guy.
Yeah, 55-45 is not enough.
No. And good thing we didn't have Pat Surtain or Bo Nix in this one because they would have won like 95-5.
But again, for Bo, like all these things, they're requirements. You know, it's not like you're going above and beyond.
Job description.
Exactly. Like it's the job description.
And as a franchise quarterback, you better throw a damn good first pitch. And he did it.
He did. It's a little late movement.
Yeah. No, it was a good one. He was hanging out there with Zach Veen for a bit before. It's that same group that always goes to everything with Frank Crum and Nick Gargiulo.
That's crazy.
Is it crazy, or is that just them playing their cards right, knowing that
I think it's
those
really
backup offensive line jobs, like it's a lot of it just who does the quarterback trust? And if you just follow that quarterback around everywhere, you're going to win some points there.
What I meant was crazy is if you would have told me 6 months ago, who is Bo Nix going to be at every public event with, more so than even his wife. His wife has been a lot of them, but more so than Izzy, I would have never in a million years guessed Nick Gargiulo, and Frank Crum. Never. No.
Yeah.
And you're right. They're doing it right. They're playing their cards right.
When I even ran into some of the guys at a Avs game, Bo was not with them, but Frank Crum was.
Incredible.
Yeah. He's a Denver guy.
I'll tell you what.
Is he Mr. Bronco?
He's
on his way.
Bronco.
Yeah.
Wait, why are you giving it to him over Nick?
I don't know. I just feel like I've seen Frank
I feel like
more.
the Wyoming vibes help. Like there's more local ties. Like there's more fan support because of it.
I-25.
The corridor.
Yeah.
Maybe the Wyoming vote will help him.
it's possible.
in the Mr. Bronco campaign.
His
I'm
grandfather
gonna
was
keep like a running tally of just like Mr. Bronco points.
okay.
throughout
That's a good
this year.
idea.
Whenever someone does something Mr. Bronco-y, I'm just gonna file it away.
I like that. Yeah.
And a coach can't be Mr. Bronco?
No.
Okay. I would
No.
agree. Just want to make sure. Because
What were
Sean,
you thinking?
Sean was sitting courtside at the Nuggets game, so just reminded me.
That's job description there.
So was George Payton. They were
I
together.
don't think Sean Payton has a job description. Like he just does whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He's a $20 million man.
Fair. Yeah. Frank Crumb's grandfather was a coach for Montana State the last time they won the championship.
How about that?
So he's one of those, him and Alex.
And speaking of Montana, Henry is clearly campaigning to be Mr. Montana,
Yes.
wearing a We Are Montana hat. And it's right side up this time. You
Yep.
can read it.
They got it at a golf tournament. My
That
dad
would
did.
be
Sent it to me.
hard to read if it was upside
It really
down.
would.
It's a lot of words.
It is
Very
a lot
good.
of words.
Is that
Very
yours?
good. Yes,
Yeah.
this is
That's sharp.
my buddy started this company, Dark Lines Design, and these are like this is kind of like the new thing.
Oh,
These hats are blowing up.
okay. I mean,
Really?
it looks good.
Now that you've seen this one,
Yep.
you're gonna see them everywhere.
Yep,
Wow.
I will. And hopefully you see us everywhere. We're going to be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. to talk to our guy, Brian Baldinger. Thank you for tuning in. Hit us with a thumbs up and we'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.